In today's video, we have some updates on some NHL trade rumors, plus we have many other news and notes around the league, including some contract status and some current RFAs that are still trying to come to terms with their teams on a new deal. All that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, we have some trade rumors to update on, as well as some other news and notes around the NHL, a variety of things here, so let's jump right in. Now, first of all, I want to talk about a couple of the trade rumors that have been kind of going around here for quite some time. Just a couple quick updates, one involving Ottawa Senators captain Erik Karlsson. Now, obviously, there's been tons of speculation around this player. Obviously, as we know, not too long ago, there were some updates again linking possibly him maybe going to Vancouver. Well, obviously, that didn't happen. There doesn't seem to be a lot to that. There was some information circulating around social media as well, indicating that he wasn't interested in playing for any Canadian team, that he would not be signing an extension with any team in Canada, and that he was looking for a contract extension with one of the teams in the United States. After that report surfaced, there was an update from Elliot Friedman. Friedman did reach out and have a conversation with Carlsson. Carlsson didn't want to make a lot of comments, but he did say that there was no truth to that basically he is willing to accept a contract extension from a Canadian team. That his part is not true at all. That led to further speculation again, indicating maybe the Canucks really were trying to make a move. I've seen some things rumbling about the Oilers. Obviously, there is the possibility, though, that he would want to stay in Ottawa. And to be completely honest here, I don't think this has anything to do with the fact that he doesn't want to stay in Ottawa. I really think he does. He's just not happy with ownership, and I think maybe he's biding some time here, before he really knows what he wants to do, to see if there's going to be enough changes within that organization to make him want to stay. So obviously at this point in time, though, any reports indicating that he did not want to play for a Canadian team and that he was only willing to accept a trade and sign an extension with a U.S. team are completely false. That came directly from Carlsson, as reported through Elliot Friedman. He did not want to make any other additional comments on the situation about his contract or anything else at that time. So that's where it is, but that's the latest on him. So stay tuned for more information as it develops here, as we've been waiting all summer for something, more clarity and something to actually happen and what his long-term future is going to hold. But at this point in time, he could remain in Ottawa. He could play for another Canadian team. Hard to say, but as far as that report was that he only wanted to play in the States, not true at all. Now, the other rumor that was going around earlier this summer was that Craig Anderson had requested a trade from the Ottawa as well. It was mainly discussed that he wasn't necessarily looking for a trade, but he would welcome a fresh start and a trade somewhere else. Craig Anderson was at an event here just on the weekend and was interviewed and asked about that, and he said he's quite happy to stay in Ottawa. One of his exact words, though, was that he's too old for drama and does not want to be dealing with that at this age, and he doesn't deal with it well. So as long as all the drama stuff is settled, then he's happy to remain there and play there because he loves it. It's his home. He's been there for 8 years, etc. So at this point in time, it doesn't look like he's interested in moving. He seems to be comfortable that all the drama stuff is all settled down and is put to rest here. We can kind of squash that rumor and leave that one be, that he's not looking to move on here. So that one we can put to rest. Now let's jump over and take a look at some of the contracts for some pending RFAs. We do have a few updates in that regard. One regarding the Calgary Flames and Noah Hannifin. They do appear to be getting closer. There have been some reports to suggest that they are getting close to inking a long-term deal. So I'm not sure exactly how quickly we'll actually see that, but apparently contract talks are going well, and that is expected to be done soon. And at this point in time, it is looking like it's going to be a longer term. Not sure exactly, but there was some speculation I've seen that he wanted at least 5 years. Not sure he's going to get that, but the other indications were that things were going well, and we should have an announcement here soon regarding Hannifin and the Flames. Regarding Shea, Theodore, and the Vegas Golden Knights, though, apparently they are still quite a ways apart on a contract for Theodore. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is there. It does seem to be a lot of it around term, as we've seen George McPhee do this summer. Obviously, he signed players like William Carlsson to a one-year deal as well. As much as these guys all had tremendous years last year and helped Vegas have a tremendous inaugural season, obviously a lot of them really proved themselves last year, and they do seem to be a little bit unwilling to sign too many of them to longer-term deals. As for the most part, they were really their breakthrough season, which I kind of understand from the Vegas and business side of things for sure. So based on that, it does appear as though term might be a sticking point for Theodore. I'm not sure when it comes to the dollars, how far apart they are, or if that part is close. But the reports are indicating that Theodore and the Knights are still a long ways apart on a contract, which is not good news considering training camp is only a few weeks away here. So obviously, as we've seen in the past, if players decide to sit out or not play, that really doesn't bode well for their season. Obviously impacts everybody. So we'll see if they can come to a quicker resolution here before training camp opens, but at this point, things aren't looking good. On another note, we did see another update from Detroit Red Wings head coach Jeff Blashill regarding Henrik Zetterberg, indicating that Zetterberg has not been able to train a whole lot this summer because of his ailing back, and therefore there's a pretty good chance, again here, as we mentioned a long time ago, that he may not play this year. He just may not be able to at all. So he is going to report to training camp. He'll go through some testing, do his physical. We'll see where he stands at that point. But based on how things were going over the summer, it's quite likely he could fail his physical and end up on long-term injury reserve. If that ends up being the case, I would say the odds are really, really good that he wouldn't play at all for the whole season. But I guess we can't completely rule that out at this point. It is possible if he's able to get some things in order and get some training in, maybe he can make a later season comeback. But depending on where things are at for the Red Wings, that may or may not make sense. So I guess we'll see. But right now, things are looking bleaker and bleaker as every time we hear any reports on Zetterberg. So things are not looking good for him to be able to suit up for the Wings during the 18-19 season. Another quick note here as well. Looks like Martin Brodeur has left the St. Louis Blues. Obviously, he's been an assistant GM to GM Doug Armstrong for the past 4 years. His contract ran out in June, and apparently he's exploring other opportunities, possibly even just going to spend more time with family. There hasn't been a lot of clarity on his future. I did see some speculation on a potential return to New Jersey, but at this point, we don't have really any information to really confirm that that's going to be a possibility, or he's having discussions or anything along those lines. Obviously, because of his long history with that franchise, it wouldn't be a complete shocker to see him go back and work there at some point in some capacity. But at this point in time, it could be more for family reasons as well. Obviously, Marty Brodeur's had a long playing career. He's been working in management since he's retired. The guy does not have to work. He's, financially well set. So it's really a matter of his still has a desire to stay in that kind of role, or if he just wants to take some more family time. So time will tell here on Marty Brodeur's future. But for right now, it appears his time with the St. Louis Blues has come to an end after 4 years working with the organization. The Winnipeg Jets have signed draft pick Christian Vesalainen to his entry-level deal as well. Obviously, he was drafted last year in 2017, so he does have his entry-level contract now. Not completely sure where he'll play this season. More than likely, there's a possibility he could report to the American Hockey League, but that part hasn't been made completely clear yet. But at this point, they do have him under contract, which is good news. He's a tremendous prospect for the Winnipeg Jets, and likely will be able to hopefully make their squad sometime here in the next season or two. One last quick note, kind of a free agent rumor, not sure if it's going to happen, but I did see some speculation that there was a possibility, and I think this is only slim. I don't think there's a big chance this is going to happen, but it could, that Lucas Sbisa could end up still getting a contract from the Vegas Golden Knights, even though when free agency hit, it didn't seem as though they were interested in bringing the defender back. And now it could be a combination of things. Obviously, with their trouble they're having signing Theodore, maybe they want to have an extra defenseman on hand for insurance. Hard to say, but I did see some rumblings that they may be having some talks, and there could be a possibility of that happening. Hard to say just how certain it would be, but I just thought it was worth mentioning here, especially for Vegas fans. If you're watching this, you might have Sbisa coming back after all. Not sure if you're happy about that or not. Obviously, he didn't have a great playoff, and kind of was taking some of the blame for the loss in the Stanley Cup final there. So we'll see what happens with Sbisa, but apparently that is a possibility. If you're new to the channel here, hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.